welcome back to the channel. It is day 6 of Zen Quest, and I'm back to looking at another Shadowdark adventure. And this one has been recommended to me by several people in my Discord, so I'm kind of jumping it forward because it was on the list, but it only has, well, at time of recording, 8 days to go. So I kind of want to make sure that people actually get hold of this one quite quickly. It's a 0-level gauntlet created by someone that has actually written a huge amount of very good and very well received and reviewed Shadowdark content. So let me just take you through to Demidirge, the Fanged Funnel, which is an acidic nightmare adventure for Shadowdark. It's currently sat at, well, it's 10,000, well, 10,500 euros. We've got 8 days to go at time of recording and 342 backers. I say this is the it's the 7th project by Shane Walsh. I think that may be how it's pronounced. It may be Walshy. I don't know. Really sorry, Shane. Who has written a fair amount of stuff looking at this Kickstarter. And I think there's a lot of stuff that I want to be getting and possibly looking at and reviewing going forward. So here we've got Demidirge, a 0-level funnel adventure for Shadowdark. You're a tunneler, trapped in the buried cathedral below the sentient sea of acid. Your life is ruled by the wraith-priests and the unseen queen who spies through stolen eyes. The eye mechanic is quite horrific once we look at that, because there is a sort of quick start snippet of the rules to look at, which I'll time stamp it and you can kind of chapter it, and we'll go through it towards the end of the video. Armed with rotten tools and contraband fossils, you must obey, toil, and conspire to escape before you recycle the boiling fungal bath. So it's 75% complete. This is his 6th Kickstarter, so delays are unlikely. Then this is a load of Shane's work, which once we get into some videos, I have seen covers of these, but I've not actually picked up anything. And I think I'm probably going to go for quite a lot of his stuff, because this looks absolutely incredible. So in this scenario, the players control several 0-level tunnelers attempting to escape the Malik mineshaft, the subterranean gulag. Survivors awake in coffins with the overworld at level 1's adventurers. So if you've never played, so it's like a so a funnel is, you create 4, according to the Shadowdark rulebook, you create 4 characters, all 0 level, so you don't actually have a class as yet, and then you'll do an adventure, and if you survive that adventure, you then get your 1st level class, if that makes sense. And so this is going to take the players through that. So we've got some foes and some monsters here to look at, but what's included? So we've got a subterranean tunnel system with an unseen queen and her candle cult. The tunnel maps and key locations, GM toolkits for encounters, weather tables, discoveries, and abnormalities tracking. So you've got rival crews, covert orders, quotas of races, and ghost elections. Acid-drenched Formic foes that evolve over time. Amazing hand-drawn dark fantasy art. I'll talk about that once we get into the art, because the style of it really reminds me of one of my favourite art styles I've loved for years is Slay Industries 1st and 2nd edition. But this really looks like that sort of 1990s Slay 1st edition artwork. We've got a character creation tables and NPC generators in here, and tools for expanding the adventure into a longer campaign. So here's the zine itself. So it's 100 GMS satin coated paper, 32 plus pages, and we've got graphic and heavy art, and that's going to cost you €9 or €12 if you want print. If you want all the PDF as a bundle, so it's another €45 here for the Toxic Wood, the Haunted Hamlet, the Willow, and obviously then we've got Demidirge and the Marna Meltdown. If you want them all printed, it's 85, and we've got some previews, so you can download the link for that I'm going to show you for the sort of, it's not quite quick start rules, it's like an example of what's going on. But here's the 5 zines in here. So we've got Demidirge, which is the 0-level funnel. We've then got Willow, which is a 1st level great starting location. Players investigate a mystery in the grim backwater village. We've then got Haunted Hamlet and Other Hexes, which is 4 self-contained side quests. Toxic Wood, a mid-level adventure, and then Marna Meltdown, which is a high-level adventure, which is a battle royale dungeon crawl. It's then going to give you a little bit more information about them. So Mind Wraith here is 146 pages hardback rulebook, which has got nautical toolkits, generates islands, monsters, NPCs, factions, and more, and infinite exploration on the high seas. Woodfall, 92 pages, a thriving outlaw town, perfect for players, base of operation with an adjacent monster-infested swamp, and hex crawls. Then we've got the 5 scenes that we've looked at. So it's just going to take you through a little bit more information. I think you just look at this artwork. Absolutely amazing. And it looks like the same. It's got the same sort of style throughout. So I'm assuming Shane is using the same artist. If it's not, Shane doing the artwork himself, I don't know. But it's utterly beautiful. It's going to take you through the Willow, and then obviously Woodfall here. And then the original art. If you pledge at this level, additional print and PDF Demidirge, you get hand-drawn piece of artwork mailed to you. Shipping's included in the pledges. So it's going to be taken at the start. We've got somewhat nerds are saying about the Lazy Lich. And then we've got some reviews here from a variety of YouTubers that are all, well, they're obviously on here, so that means they are really raving about this world that has been created. So this is jumped up right to the top of my stuff that I need to look at list. Right, let me just then take you over to this book here, which, say, if you've read first edition Slay Industries, you'll know exactly what I mean about the art style in here. So we've got the Fanged Funnel here, Demidirge. Now, I'm not going to spoil much in it because I'm going to let you sort of discover it for your own, because I'm trying to keep these videos sort of streamlined and short, if that makes sense. But this is just a short fantasy adventure. The characters are workers inside the subterranean nightmare, and they are basically looking to escape back to the Unseethy at the top, where you've got the Hermit Queen, which is the adventurer's villain, is trying to push them down to the sunless horizon down here. Within the mineshaft itself, it's got this buried cathedral, which is, so it's a slave colony burrowing inside the mind of the Hermit Queen. The labourers who dig and stab are serrated hollows are not only, they're not truly alive. Their bodies hang inverted somewhere else, sealed in wet, mana-spilled organic coffins across the waking world, and then they're going to wake up. As the adventure goes on, it appears that the tunnelers are going to earn ascent. So by doing certain missions and quests, which will be assigned, actually, it talks about it later on, you will then, I think the way I'm reading it is, you will actually go higher up. Let me just roll it back up, towards the exit, towards Earth, or the escape, if that makes sense. And obviously, if you do things badly, I'm assuming that's going to push you down to the sunless horizon. We've got a couple of rival houses here, which is quite interesting. The Faithful Ferric Friars and Her Holy, is it Carulian? I think C. Now, their beliefs are very similar, but slightly different. So the first one, they believe they must mine with sacred iron picks, tunneling towards the heat to find the Queen's lost sword. And then the holy ones, they believe they must mine with the sacred kobold picks, tunneling towards the cold to find the Queen's long lost sisters. So depending on which faction, whether you can join them or you interact with them, will determine where the sort of motivation is going to go. But we've then got this tunnel a bit, so we've got some starting equipment in here. So I'm assuming that's, you're going to roll 3d10, so whether you're going to have some variations, then the common item, whether it's a crowbar, hammer. And then we got this, whether it's uncommon, so reliable. So we might end up with a giant singing spoon. So reliability tests, tunnels integrity. We've got a d20 table here of the starting jobs, or the jobs that the players are going to do within the crew. They may be an entomber, a farmer, a runner, a shrimp trapper, something along those lines. And there's a bit where it talks about that they take the eyeballs, and the Queen gets people to put the eyeballs in the wall so she can see everyone moving around in there. We've got a random table here, some weather that's going to go on inside, and then the tasks. And obviously, the more you succeed in the tasks, the nearer to the surface you're going to become. We've got some 8 different random encounters with some rival crews in here, and then we've got 8 different creatures in here. So we've got things like the Cyst Knight, so a Curitan capsule knight with scab shields and cartilage sabers that bleed yellow nutric acid blood. And then let's just pick on, what should we go for? Let's have a look at this spellcaster here. A swirling luminescent sorcerer, etching arcane symbols into metal veins, conjuring new tunnels. It's just, it's quite gross in that exciting and really interesting way. I just love the feel of this adventure. It's so horribly gross and interesting. It's like a really weird, messed up version of the Matrix, where you're kind of, you're going to awaken somewhere, then find out that you're trapped in this tunnel, and you've got to do certain goals and missions to try and get out. And you're looking at the creatures, because obviously everything's level 0, and these funnels are designed to get through a certain amount of characters, is probably how we should word it. You're gonna get character death in here, and then we can take your eyes and then stick them on the tunnels. But this just looks like the beginning of a really interesting world that I didn't know existed. And this, I'm so glad that a couple of people on my Discord have gone, this is in Zen Quest, can you make sure that you look at Demidirge? And I'm like, yeah, it's on the list. But then I've jumped on it. Say there's 8 days to go at time of recording, so by the time this goes out, it'll probably be around about 7, because I'm trying to get ahead of myself a little bit in here. But I'll put all the links down in the video description so you can go and back it on Kickstarter. So I think this is, for anyone that's not aware of this world that Shane has built, I think pretty much everyone's going to be where I am now, going, I need all of this. There is some great, amazing looking stuff in here. And if in doubt, go and watch a few of those videos on there, and then you're going to back them all anyway. So I'm going to leave it there. I will be back tomorrow with day 7 of Zen Quest. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, please like, share, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.